Hello and welcome everybody to Topics, the channel that seeks to highlight the blatant sexism and misogyny of gender-based censorship, one heinous, female-presenting nipple at a time. I am your host, Cleo, and today I want to talk about why I think Asian dating reality shows are exactly the tool we need to dismantle toxic masculinity. So if you've been watching Topics for a while, you have probably heard how this year I have decided, after 10 years of constantly fighting against censorship, just getting my stuff banned left and right, no matter how much I censor it, I am actually going to stop putting so much effort into avoiding censorship, because I can't avoid it anyway, and redirect that energy into making my videos better overall. So that means more interviews, like I have an upcoming interview that should be out possibly by the time this video gets out, interviewing Jessie Gender, who is a video essayist I really admire, that I'm very excited about. By the way, that video will be early access to Patreon donors and to Promo Squad members. So if you'd like to see my interview with Jessie Gender as soon as it's available, you can become a Patreon donor for as little as $2 a month over at patreon.com/. Or you can join the Promo Squad, which is basically just sharing links to my content on your own social media, websites, platforms, and then getting free access to my content that way. Anyway, so like I said, from now on, I'm going to be focusing more on improving the videos themselves, interviews, event coverage, scripted video essays where I actually research the subject and write a script instead of just, free balling in front of a camera. But today I actually wanted to go back to Topics roots a little more and just film a video talking about a subject that I turned out to care about, a subject that occurred to me as I was washing dishes this morning. So I lately have been binge watching on a Korean show called Inferno. Kind of a cringy name, I know, where the basic premise is that there's this island that they call Inferno, even though it's more like glamping, where they'll take a bunch of single men, a bunch of single women, and put them on the island, and then through either the ones who win the little games, or through matched pairings where they don't know who they're saying who they want to go with, so it has to match up, kind of like speed dating, where you don't tell the person, hey, I want to date you, but you write down, hey, I want to date you, and then if you both do, you get each other's contact info, kind of like that. Those people will spend the night in Paradise, which is a really nice hotel with really fancy food and a private pool and stuff like that. So it's an interesting show in that it's not angry. It's not screaming, cat calling, but cat fights, I'm gonna kill that bitch for taking my man. It's not people having sex with each other like the day that they meet, which, sex isn't bad and casual sex isn't bad, necessarily, as long as everyone is consenting, but it's very different from actually caring about forming an emotional connection with someone based on their interests, based on their personality, not just whether you think they're hot or not. And it's such a contrast with what little I have seen of Western dating shows, of American and UK shows. And I mean, I will fully admit I don't really watch Western dating shows or reality shows in general, simply because they don't appeal to me. I have tried numerous ones over the years. I think I tried a little bit of, what is it called? The one where they're in the rooms and they can't see each other. I've watched snippets of Real Housewives and Bachelor and stuff like that, and I've just never really liked them. One, because they come across as very fake, and I know, I've seen documentaries where they talk about how much they coach the people to act in certain ways, and how, if you act like, what was it, Snooki or something like that, you will become famous. You'll become famous for being like that, but a lot of people, they really want to be famous, and so they're willing to, I'm gonna say, debase themselves on camera just so that they are getting featured on The View and stuff like that. And it's such a big contrast with Asian dating shows where at least in the ones that I've seen, and I've seen, Singles Inferno, I've seen, I think it's called Terrace House. Like I said, this video is not scripted. I just was like, hey, I really want to talk about this. I'm going to turn on a camera and off I go. But reality shows like that, filmed in Korea or Japan, I don't think I've seen any from China or Singapore, but yeah, it's just so different. There's no screaming at each other. There's no just sniping each other. There's no being just nasty, even if it would be more, more drama, more clickbait, at least for people who like drama. It's all a lot more subtle. And I'm sure part of that is cultural. I mean, the stereotype of Asian people is that they are not nearly as forward with their emotions. They are taught to kind of keep it all inside, and just not be overly emotional, like, Americans are. But I think one of the things that really sticks out to me in watching Singles Inferno, cat, do you... Live and unfiltered. Anyway, one of the things that really sticks out to me when I'm watching Singles Inferno, and I'm going to try not to be spoilerific, I'm mostly going to talk about season 4 because that's what I just watched, is how the men put so much effort into not trying to manipulate the women that they like. So, for instance, in season 4, they actually have one episode left to watch, but I think they've pretty much, unless they really have a curveball in there, they've pretty much established who's going to end up with who. There's one girl, Xian, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but she's sort of like the most popular woman in the show this season. So she has 3 different guys that are interested in her, and they are very different. And this might be a little bit of a spoiler, so I'm going to try to be vague. But let's just say one of the guys that likes her is very smooth. One of the guys that likes her is quite brusque. And then one of the guys that likes her is kind of obnoxious, but like in a playful way. And even though he is obnoxious and he like constantly teases her, he does it in like a friendly way. And he actually like kind of chills out a little bit on all the jokes as the season goes in, and reveals that he's a very empathetic person. He's a very, like, he really cares about her and is doing sweet little things for her, and just seems like he has really good chemistry with her. And the thing that really sticks out is that these dudes are not punching each other. They're not sniping each other. They're not being like, oh, that fucking piece of shit, I'm gonna take that woman because she's my blah, blah, blah. And in the interactions with the men and the woman that they're interested in, Xian, all 3 of them, actually 2 of them, one of them not so much, tell her, I want to make it clear that I'm interested in you. And it takes them like 10 episodes to even be that blunt about it. But they say, I want to make sure that you know that I'm interested in you, but I don't want you to feel pressured to pick me just because I'm interested in you. I want you to follow your heart. I want you to do what feels right to you. I feel like you would never see that in an American or a UK or just otherwise Western romantic reality show. Maybe there is, and I'm sure like if you really dig you could find an example, but it's definitely not the norm. At least, again, necessary caveat, what I've seen of Western reality shows. And it really means a lot to me in that it is so antithetical to the toxic masculinity idea of ownership over women, of, she doesn't know what's good for her. I'm the best choice, so I'm going to make sure she picks me because I'm the best choice. There's rivalry, but it's not a nasty rivalry. It's more, I'm going to just try to show her my best self and hope that she picks me, but not like insult her and be like, those guys are trash. And it's funny because like, this isn't related to reality shows, but as I'm talking about this, I'm thinking of various male friendships I've had in the past, and being a nerdy, obsessed with video games girl, most of my friends growing up have been men. To this point, I still have mostly male friends, although I have been making some mom friends, which is very exciting, through my kids' school. But anyway, and so often these guys they were possessive of me. Most of them never got around to actually asking me out, but they made it very obvious that they were interested in dating me. And one of the things that they would so frequently do is if I did express any interest in another guy, they would be like, oh, that guy's an idiot. Oh, he's a shithead. And I don't think that they necessarily were terrible people. I mean, you know, some people do gravitate towards abusive relationships, but I don't think I was. I just think it honestly was that these male friends of mine wanted me to date them, and so they were trying to kind of subconsciously make me not like the men that I was interested in. And full disclosure, I am not really interested in men anymore. Like, I'm married to a man, but my interest has been towards women for like years now, so sorry, calm down. Anyway, but getting back to Asian reality shows, it's not so much a dating show, but there was a show that was really popular for a while, especially over COVID, called Terrace House. I think that was what it was called. And it was a marvel. Like, there were all these think pieces about, like, why is this popular? And it's sort of more like the real world variety where it's like, let's just throw people in a house and see what they do without, like, having actual singles games or whatever. But again, very different from Western reality shows in that there wasn't screaming, there wasn't insulting each other, there wasn't, you know, all this other stuff. It was just a very calming and yet, to me, people like me, interesting view of people. It kind of makes me think of The Sims almost, where it's like just watching people, you know, live their life. Except obviously these are like real people. By the way, necessary caveat, I don't know where I was going to slip this in, but I am cat hair. I am aware that reality shows, anywhere they're filmed, do have a strong editing presence. Like, they can really change how characters, cast members, whatever, are portrayed based on what clips they decide to put in, what music they put over it. Like, I've seen documentaries, and especially like American shows, like, a lot of times when they show a character just standing there, not talking, and they're trying to play it like it's an awkward silence, the other character's talking, they just cut it out. Try to make it look awkward. And I don't know how much that's true for Asian reality shows. At least just from my impression of what I've seen of Asian reality shows, they definitely aren't pushing drama the same way. But, so I'm aware that it's not necessarily, like, real. But from what I've seen, shows like Terrace House, yeah, like, people that do like Western shows where they're like screaming and sniping each other and everything like that, probably find them very boring. And if you like drama, you like the screaming and the sniping and the having the first time you meet people and everything like that, that is awesome. That is so cool. I am glad for you. I am happy for you that you have something out there that you enjoy watching. I personally find shows like that stressful and unpleasant to watch. Especially now, the world is just so... people are just so nasty overall. You go online and you see all these, like, just people insulting each other on all sides. You see disinformation, you see, like, rage bait, everything like that. Like, there's so much of it that you can't even avoid it unless you, like, just don't use social media at all. You can't avoid seeing and hearing snippets of all this nastiness going on. So for me, why would I go out and seek out more of that nastiness to watch? I don't find it entertaining. I don't find it, you know, it stresses me out. I don't like watching people scream at each other. So for me, I find these Asian reality shows a much more entertaining but also calming experience. But that isn't saying, like, it's not asthma or anything like that. Like, I do get invested in it. I do find myself sympathizing with some of the cast members, and, you know, they're very different. Like, all the people in the show are very different. Like, one of the girls, I think it's Yujin, I don't quite remember all their names, but she's hilarious. Like, she's always trying to kind of, like, be the best host and, like, let's all have fun or whatever, versus, like, one of the other characters who's a lot more, female characters who's a lot more withdrawn, and you can tell, like, she feels things very deeply, but she has a hard time expressing herself. Or the men, like I mentioned, one of them, who's honestly my favorite, is very, like, teasing but also sweet, versus one of the other guys who actually has 3 women interested in him, who is an accountant, and he's just, like, super calm, a little awkward, and you can tell he's, like, flustered. He's like, what? There's, like, multiple women interested in me? This has, like, never happened before. And, it's just interesting to see how different people are attracted to different traits. One of the things that I was actually thinking about, like I said, as I was cooking this idea while I was washing dishes earlier today, is the popularity of the show Bluey. Again, there were like think pieces that came out where they were like, why people are so into Bluey right now. And basically, if you've never seen Bluey, yes, it's a children's cartoon about a family of dogs, but it's made in Australia. And what really sets it apart is that, first of all, the kid characters are played by real children, which does make a difference. And it's just a very healthy, therapeutic show. It's very real. Like the creator of the show, I remember reading an article where he was talking about how he took these stories of stuff that happened in his own life or stuff that he heard from other people and wove it into plot lines. But it's a very realistic show. However, unlike a lot of shows, a lot of depictions of fathers, the dad in Bluey is like the best dad ever. Like, he plays with the kids. He actually plays with them. He cares about their emotions. He tries to nurture them to be good people. Occasionally he messes up and he tries to be better. Like, there's an episode where Bluey is kind of sad and the mom has to figure out why she's so sad, and basically she figures out that it's because the dad plays a little bit too rough with them, and they work it out by explaining to the dad, hey, you're a little bit too rough, and the dad's like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, I wasn't, I was trying to have fun with you, I wasn't trying to hurt you. There's no attitude of like, suck it up, like, just deal with it, get over it. And so, like, I think that that's a good reflection that attitudes are shifting, especially, again, I think a lot of people are burnt out on the anger and negativity that we see all around us every day. And I think that we, whether consciously or subconsciously, are seeking stuff like that out. Again, video is not organized, so sorry for jumping between subjects. But another thing I wanted to mention also is that not only are the men not nasty to each other, the women aren't either. You do not see women in Asian reality shows shit-talking each other, calling each other bitches, whether to their face or even in their, little one-on-one talking about how they feel things. The most I've ever seen that I can think of in an Asian reality show is one female character, cast member, whatever, maybe being like, I didn't want to hear this rival talking about her date with the guy that we both like. Like, it made me sad to hear that. But they don't insult each other. Like, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I really have to emphasize how different it is from so many American shows where that's the thing. They want drama. They want people to be shitty to each other. Whereas if a character is even mildly shitty to each other in an Asian reality show, they're kind of the bad guy. And I mean, again, deceptive editing or whatever, people are complex, everyone has good traits and bad traits, so just because someone is shown as doing these negative things in a show doesn't mean that everything they did was negative there. And occasionally, like, two characters will seem like they don't get along very well, but one of them will still pick the other one, and you're like, oh, I guess there's like some connection that happened off screen, or somehow it was different when they talk to each other in person versus what we see on the camera. One of the reality shows, I guess you say US-made reality shows that I have seen a fair amount of is 90 Day Fiancé. And again, like, I have to be in a certain mindset to even want to watch it. And mostly the reason I'm interested in it is just seeing how the different culture clash, Like, I remember one episode or one season, there was a woman, I think from Brazil or Venezuela or something like that, and she was this very, like, kind of loud, enthusiastic or whatever, and she came to the States to marry a quiet, reserved, traditional Mormon guy. And as you can expect, that was not a very healthy relationship. Or there was another one, again, another Mormon guy, hashtag not all Mormons, but a lot of them, who brought a woman over. I can't remember where she was from. I want to say Russia? No, it wasn't Russia. I don't know. I can't remember where she was white, but I can't remember where she came over. But she was gorgeous. And this guy seemed like a nice guy at first, but like they were walking around LA because she had never seen LA before, and she got approached by someone that wanted to be, I think like wanted to make her a model or something like that. And all of a sudden, this Mormon guy is like, you're taking my woman. And it felt really uncomfortable to me because she was so excited, like in a quiet way, but she was so excited. She wanted new experiences. You know, she was coming to the US. She wanted to like experience all these freedoms and pursue things that interested her and everything like that. And instead, she ended up stay-at-home mom with like, you know, a whole bunch of kids. And I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom technically. Like, I do my videos and stuff like that, but I don't make any money off of it. So under our capitalistic society, I would be considered a stay-at-home mom. And so I'm not hating on that. It's more that like watching that show, and it's been a while, so I don't quite remember all the details, but I just remember watching that show and feeling like she had been stifled by this man being like, no, you're going to be my good little wife. You're gonna raise my kids. You're gonna stay at home. You're gonna convert to my religion, and it just made me feel icky. And that's why, like, I only watched a couple episodes of this show. And again, it just feels very different where you have the Asian shows where, like I said, they're like, I want you to know that I'm interested in you, but I don't want you to pick me just because I'm interested. I want you to actually genuinely want me, versus like kind of this like mail order bride attitude where even the nice guys on a show like 90 Day Fiancé often reveal themselves to actually be very controlling, and they have expectations of these foreign women that they bring over where it's like, no, you're not allowed to have interests outside of doing what I want you to. You know, you're not allowed to have other friends. You're not allowed to not be part of my religion. And just, I don't know. It's just, yeah. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you for joining me on this rambling journey. Like I said, hopefully future videos will be more planned out. I have that Jessie Gender interview coming out soon that I'm really excited about. I also have some other interviews that I'm going to be filming in the next couple of months. I am open to even more interviews. So if you or someone you know might be interested in letting me interview them, feel free to go to my contact page, org/contact. I am full up on cis male nudists wanting to talk about being naked. I get a lot of cis male nudists who are like, hey, you should interview me and talk about nudism, and I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks. I have a whole video out there about how I stopped identifying as a nudist even though I was born and raised one, mostly because of how frequently cis male nudists completely ignore my mission of wanting to have the exact same rights that they already have to go topless online and in public without getting banned as sexually explicit nudity, and instead want to jump to freeing their penis because they can't. Men like that, cis male nudists like that, not all cis male nudists, but men like that, can't really conceive of supporting a cause that they don't benefit from. And so that was a tangent. Anyway. And I also live stream a lot. Unfortunately, because of my kids, school, you know, appointments, stuff like that, it's not the most reliable schedule, but I try to stream on joystick.tv/u/ at least once a week, which is unfortunately a sex site, but that's the only place I can stream where my nipples are visible. But yeah, I try to live stream on there at least once a week, and usually I'm editing video. I might be like drawing erotic art, or sometimes just for fun I'll play like an adult game, and it's mostly just me like making fun at how bad they are. Plus getting to like do my fun voice acting, because I love doing like voice acting for characters and stuff like that. And then on Fridays I stream at twitch.tv/Seri.game, CERI got game, which is my gaming name that I would love to do more content focused on like gaming and cultures and stuff like that. Gaming and comics, there we go. Gaming and comics and that kind of nerdy shit, but because I'm one person behind all of topless and topless, oh my god, topless topics and all that, I don't really have the time, but you know, maybe someday I can do more nerd focused stuff like that. And then like I said, I also have a Patreon, and I really appreciate any and all donations on that, because I am banned from monetization when I'm not banned outright, and sponsors won't return my emails because they don't want to be associated with a sex worker like me, even though the entire point of my content is that this is not sexual. Just because you can see female nipples doesn't mean I am actually being sexual right now. Anyway, so I really appreciate Patreon donors, and or again, you can join the promo squad, which is totally free and gets you the same perks that paying me money does, like early access to videos, my sub-only streams on Joystick. You can also take part in those, and all you gotta do is post links to my content on your own social media platforms, links to anything of mine, and just be like, hey, check out this video by Topless Topics or whatever, and then join our Discord, which has a link, topics.org/chat has a link to join our Discord, and then there's a Promo Squad Promo Squad report room there, and that's where you post a screenshot of your post, and then we'll be like, okay, here's the role you need to take part in these live streams and stuff. Anyway, and yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on dating shows, Western versus Asian shows? I don't want to say Eastern because I'm specifically talking mostly about Japanese and Korean because, like I said, I haven't really watched reality shows from other countries over there. But and yes, there's more Asian countries than just Japan. I'm not even gonna bother with all the asterisks. Yeah, what are your thoughts on reality shows, and like what kind of shows do you like? Why do you like them? How long have you liked them? How do you feel towards the characters in them? Are there any shows, Asian or Western or whatever, that you think I should check out and maybe do like a mini review of or something like that? Feel free to let me know. If you are watching the super censored version of this on YouTube, you are not going to see any of my nipples right now that I actually have on camera right now. You will have to go to my website, org, and look for this video there. I can't even say the URL if you're watching this on YouTube, so I have to like bleep it out and be like, just search for my channel name. It's ridiculous. The levels of censorship on all mainstream media, but YouTube especially, are just freaking insane. People do not understand how insane they are. And finally, if you want to stay in contact with me, I have my links, my as yet banned links, as yet unbanned links listed at org/contact. My main ones are Mastodon, at Topless Topics, at Topless Topics, at mastodon.social. I am also on Blue Sky just because most of the people that quit Twitter, the furthest away they'd go is Blue Sky, even though it's basically the same thing. I really don't encourage it as a main platform because it is funded by venture capitalists, cryptocurrency venture capitalists, who are obviously going to have their own things that they want from the site. The enshittification is already well underway, not to mention the fact that from day one, Blue Sky has been labeling even cartoon drawn nipples that I've done of my day in the life of a top free activist webcomic, have slapped an adult sexually explicit nudity label over cartoon female nipples, while men, as always, can post their entire ass chests all over Blue Sky in their profile pictures, everything like that, without getting labeled. Even nudity, even non-sexual nudity, not even sexually explicit nudity like I do. So fuck Blue Sky. But if you refuse to try something like Mastodon or a decentralized platform, which I'm not going to get into, just go to joinmastodon.com or .org. I think it's joinmastodon.org if you want to actually find out more about what Mastodon is. If the furthest you'll go is Blue Sky, you can look me up on Blue Sky. Or join our Discord server. Again, there is a link, .org/chat. We have different rooms based on like interest and stuff like that, and all we ask is that you not be a fucking asshole. Like, you don't have to agree with us on everything. Just don't be like the American reality shows where you're like insulting and starting fights and shit, or we'll kick you out. And also don't be like, oh my god, nice tits, because that's also, we don't want that. There's plenty of that out in the world. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm gonna shut up now. Like I said, thanks for watching, and don't worry, most of my videos this year are not going to be nearly this rambly, but I just wanted to talk about that. So yeah, like if you like, subscribe if you subscribe, share links to my content on your own social media platforms, please, because I am banned all the time. So when I share the links, my posts get banned. So please share the links on your own social media. Consider being a Patreon donor, or buying artistic nude photography at .gumroad.com. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm done. Bye!